This is Carl with your weekly livestock update. Just a head note. Traditionally, I've been putting this report out on Friday afternoons. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Nobody cares about too much on Friday afternoon, including me. So we're going to move it around and basically not really going to have a defined day for it. Just whenever there's news, we'll put it out, including we got a lot to look at here this week. A lot to look at, but really not a lot of big news movements in the market. Cash markets continue to drive futures, especially in the cattle complex. Cattle coming in around that $228 in Texas and up into Kansas this week, getting up into that Nebraska and northern market. We're about $7, $8 higher than that. Feeders a little bit weaker to start the week out, but came back and again 5 to 10 higher on the week. That's feeders. If you don't sell them this week, you'll sell them next week, $5 to $10 higher, and they'll cost you $5 to $10 more. So it just seems to be the trend we've had. Not seeing big demand for stocker cattle. That continues to be relatively low. And some guys looking at what the wheat, with the wheat harvest being delayed, may not pasture it off this year, is some talk coming in. So we'll be watching that. One of the big stories of the week came out, matter of fact, came out yesterday, Wednesday after the close, the cold storage report for April. April 30th, U.S. beef supply came in 407.7 million pounds, down 1% from last year. U.S. pork supply 451 million pounds, that was down 7% on the year. And the pork belly supply 53.01 million pounds, down 26% year to year. Total red meat supplies in the inventory down 4% from 2024. The number that jumped out, the pork supply, 451 million pounds of pork. That is the tightest U.S. pork supply in 21 years. So we are way down there on our pork supply. Not causing a lot of panic buying though in the market. Now, hogs are already at contract highs, so to see additional buying is going to be a little bit limited. We're also seeing a little bit less concern from packers on their inventories. They feel that they can maybe cut the inventories that they have, the frozen supplies, down a little bit. And let's face it, we still have a rather decent supply of beef and pork, so a lot less concern about low slaughter runs and these cold storage numbers. Now, if we continue to erode, that's another story. But the flip side of the product or the consumption here domestically is, we could see demand slip a little bit. There's some economic indicators not real supportive for red meat demand, mainly consumer sentiment, long range consumer sentiment down to 68%. Anything below 80% on the index has a indication of a recession. So we are seeing a little bit more worry about that, especially with unemployment numbers starting to creep a little higher. I side with most market economists when they say that we'll probably see elevated pork and poultry demand and a little bit less beef demand if these conditions continue. That seems to be the trend we head down. One of the biggest unknowns in the market that's impacting red meat demand, though, and I've talked about this, is the energy market. If energy values continue to erode, we do tend to see a little bit better red meat demand, especially beef, higher end cuts of beef. And I've brought this up before, but we're at a stage where it's kind of now or never on that to a point. So domestically, yeah, we've got lower numbers. Packers are okay with them. Our demand is okay, but we're concerned a little bit moving forward. And exports for the week, very good. Pork exports up 82% from the prior week. A good week of export sales on pork. Beef sales up 14% on the week. So a good week of demand there. It's not just in the United States that we have to watch domestically. It's that global red meat demand as well. Aside from that, it really, livestock, we had last week, we put in all-time highs on cattle. Took us right into overbought territory. We've seen a bit of a correction to that this week. Hogs also correcting a little bit this week here. Overbought technical indicators indicators and new contract highs weighing on hogs a little bit. Even with that tight pork supply, technicals do weigh in. And when you're that long and that loaded up to the heavy side, which a lot of managed money traders are in the hog complex. Like I said, next Monday, the 30th, is month and quarter end, so we are seeing some profit taking. I wouldn't be too surprised when we see a little bit more of that in tomorrow's session as well. Those are some of the week's top livestock stories for you. Thank you for your time.